Password spraying is using one password. So it's different than brute force. You're switching out the username each time, but you're using one password that you found, a compromised password that you know is compromised. Password spraying is using one password to attempt to log into a list of users, typically with a common weak password. There are many tools to automate. You can easily test an environment, blah, blah, blah. In a realistic environment, humans are the weakest link, and that is huge, right? So even if you have the best like layer 7 firewalls in your environment, you have everything configured properly. If you have humans, which I think all companies have humans, they're always the greatest vulnerability. The greatest vulnerability is the human vulnerability, which is why good training for your employees is vital. Training that is not extremely boring and training that actually helps. KnowBe4 is a company I've used in the past at different places I've worked, by Kevin Mitnick. And if anyone knows hacking, it is that dude. I believe his title is Hacker in Chief. So one company to look into is KnowBe4 if you're looking into cybersecurity awareness training. All right, if the environment has a weak password policy, then oftentimes you can spray for common weak password based upon various conditions of the year. For example, if the year was 2020 and the season was fall, then a common weak password that you could spray for would be fall 2020, which a lot of users do that. Some examples of weak passwords, just giving us some ideas. If your password is in this list, go ahead and stop watching and go change your password, right? There's my free cybersecurity advice for you. Finding the attack surface. The attack surface for password spraying is fairly broad. All you need is a field to submit a username and a password, and we can actually capture that login with Burp Suite and send it to Repeater. Repeater is what I'm thinking of. I believe Repeater is what we're going to send it to, and then we can repeat the request. There's also, oh gosh, going off memory, there's another Burp Suite module for attacking. You can set like Pitchfork and different things like that. So we'll dig into Burp Suite. You'll see more about that. Even if there's not a login portal, you can still sometimes password spray against it. For example, we can password spray Active Directory users with Kerbroot. Having a broad attack surface makes password spraying a commonly used attack vector in many red team engagements. The only hard part about finding our attack surface is finding the parameters of the request. That's where Burp Suite's going to probably come in handy. This can either be done by submitting a test login and seeing what the parameters are, because you can also use Hydra, right? If you get the right parameters. Hydra is faster, a little more complex because it's all command line. However, this does not always work. So instead, what we can do is use Burp, I was right, to intercept our request and see what the request parameters are. All right. Well, let's go ahead and open Burp Suite. And the proper way to do Burp Suite is to configure Foxy Proxy, which you can do in Firefox, which is a proxy that routes everything through Burp Suite, so you can capture those connections. I recently reinstalled Kali Linux, and it doesn't appear that I have installed Burp Suite or installed Foxy Proxy. So Burp Suite also has a built-in web browser, and we'll just use that. It'll do the same thing. Blah, blah, blah. Come on, Burp Suite. Oh, I can hear my computer singing to me. Not singing, but playing his fan. Yes, I accept. I don't think I've even launched a Burp Suite on this instance of Kali Linux yet. You can just, I should be explaining what I'm doing. So we're going to do a temporary project, and Burp Suite has two kind of editions. Community Edition is the free version of Burp Suite, but you're rate limited on certain things such as password spraying, brute force attacks, and there's Extender, which is built into Burp Suite, which are essentially modules that you can install that extend the functionality of Burp Suite. And with the Community Edition, you're limited on some of the extenders you can download, but the Community Edition is still pretty powerful, and once again, it's free. If you have Kali Linux, it comes pre-installed on there. Z Attack Proxy, yeah, dude. So I've heard about that a lot. I've never actually used Z Attack Proxy. I should check that out. And yeah, what up, Hunter Bot? I'm assuming you're not a real bot since you said Zap Gang. I should look into that more. Z Attack Proxy. So I'm taking that's free. How similar is it to Burp Suite? And like, is it not rate limited like Burp Suite when you try to do stuff? I'll let you guys answer that in the chat, and then I'll share it in the video for those on YouTube so they can look into it as well. For now, we will use Burp Suite. We can just use the Burp defaults. Burp Suite also has some training that you can attend online. And I don't think there's any discounts for the Burp Suite Professional Edition. I was hoping I get like a student discount with my .edu email. I don't think that was possible. You can get a free trial of Burp Suite Professional, or if you work at a security company, often they'll pay for a license with you. So on Z-Attack Proxy, Nobody Nate said, not limited, quite a bit different than Burp, but good online documentation. And HunterBot said, not rate limited, better than Burp, but not better than Burp Pro. Okay, cool. I'll have to look into that just in my own time. Maybe in one of my Twitch streams, I'll do my own digging and troubleshooting on that. And hey, Hunter, I'm just curious, are you following along on the Throwback Network? If you are, feel free to correct me when I do stuff wrong. Even if you're not, feel free to correct me when I do stuff wrong as you're watching me. I've noticed when I stream, as the time goes on, and it's a mixture of like, I'm trying to do this while talking, while communicating the entire time. It's hard for my brain to work in all those different ways, so I miss like obvious things, I feel like, when I'm streaming. Okay, so what we are going to do when you first open Burp Suite, it looks more confusing than it really is. Proxy is what we want to do. Now, if you have Foxy Proxy, which is the ideal way to do it, this is kind of where you configure it. But if you don't, which we don't have it right now, we can also use Burp's embedded browser. And at least for what we're doing it right now on this, it should accomplish the same thing. So we need to connect to the mail server, and I saved in my Etsy hosts. Okay, cool. You're at work doing RMF stuff. Sweet. Well, if you, while you're listening, if I say something silly, jump in the chat and tell me I'm silly. And so you'll notice when I try to connect to that, it's going to capture every HTTP request. We're doing a GET request here, and to keep going, this isn't of interest to us, at least not right now. We'll forward. Now we're getting the login.php page. We'll forward that request. This is just all the different style things. Let's forward through that. And now we should be able to jump here. So what we're going to do here is really any garbage username and password here. So we could do, gosh, I didn't even look at what the usernames were. Do I still have it open? So we know that one of the usernames is going to be Humphrey W. We actually have his password hash. Now, what do you want, bro? Leave me alone. We have his password hash, so we might even be able to crack his password hash if we took it that route and log in as him. But let's just, for this, it really doesn't matter. You can use any username that you want here. We'll do that, and we'll do, you know, super secure password for our password. And hit login, and you'll notice it's going to jump right back to Burp Suite. And here's what we want. We want to be able to modify these fields. The username field and the secret key field is what we want to be able to modify. So what we're going to do is we're not going to forward this. If we go, is it action? Yeah, here's what we want to do. We're likely going to send this to either repeater or intruder. I don't remember which one it is. In our password spray, you'll need a list of users. You can get the contact list from the guest account and utilize the names from it. So we can, okay, let's back up. Oh, we're going to use Hydra. Okay, cool. We need to send a request to Burp with dummy data in the user and password fields to identify where the request parameters are, which is exactly what we did. Here's our request parameters. We can now use these parameters in Hydra, which I mentioned earlier as I was walking through this, to make requests to the website with a user list and a password. Hydra is not rate limited. I bet that's why we're using Hydra. You could do this in Burp Suite, but it's going to take longer. Hydra is powerful. In order to password spray, you will need a list of users. You can get the contact list from the guest account and utilize the names from it as a user list. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's open back up our mail here, and we have all these users right here. So the actual login, I'm trying to remember when we logged in, we didn't specify @throwback.local, so it's just like this stuff right here is going to be the login account. So if we just copy something like that, if I open Notepad, you'll see kind of what we're going to be doing here. If I do Excel in the terminal, you can do a delimiter, and then you can grab this down Oh, it's trying to open mail.thm. You can do a delimiter also in the terminal. Like if you create a text file and then you can make the delimiter spaces, and then you could also pull it down that way just to get these usernames out. So, you know, there's different ways to skin a cat, as they say. I'm just trying to get my try hack me machine pulled back up. All right, so let's go ahead and open our terminal back up. That already had the, oh, let's check over here. Okay, let's open our terminal back up, and oh, we lost connection to the firewall. That's fine. Let's cd to throwback. Do I already have a mail folder? I do. And let's gedit. We'll just call it users.txt, and we'll copy in those users. No reply. We probably don't need that in there. That all looks good. Save. ls, let's cat users.txt. All of that looks good. So we now have our user list for password spraying and users.txt. Hydra is typically used as a web application login portal brute force tool. However, it can also be used to password spray against a login portal. You only have to supply the IP, which we have, of course, the password, and a user list. A password list is optional. However, you can make a small list of common passwords within the company and use it to spray with. So let's go back to our common passwords up here. Obviously, if we were doing this, we'd probably want a little bit bigger of a dictionary list, but let's gedit passwords.txt. Oh, come on. And let's just fix some of this formatting. There's probably a way quicker way to do this rather than manually, but company is throwback, right? Oh no, that's the name of the network. Is the company name throwback as well? I'm trying to remember from, I'll just check. I'm pretty sure it is, but throwback hacks and their domain's throwback. So we're just going to try throwback as the password. I don't want that one. Oh, we already did that. We can close that out. Where did my... Did I put them all in there? Okay, cool. So we got a password list and we have a user list. Perfect. Let's scroll back down. Hydra is typically used, blah, blah. So it's giving us this here. If you don't know what it is, usually you can do a -H for help, and it's going to give you an example. And that's for most commands that you're going to do, honestly, on both Windows and Linux. That's how you're going to access some of the help docs there. So it's giving us the examples right here on how we can do it. We're also giving it over here. So let's just go ahead and go through this. So we're going to do Hydra-L, which must mean, for some reason, like the user list. Or let's just see what -L. Oh, login. We're using a capital L. Is a capital L different? I think it should be a lowercase l. Oh well, we'll try a capital L just because it's in the example first. Maybe it doesn't matter, but usually it does. Users.txt -p. What do we call our password file? Just passwords.txt? I should just, let me just ls real quick. Let me verify that. Oh, thank you, Nate. So what Nate just said in the chat is lowercase l is for string user, and then a capital L is for user list, and we want the user list. I just missed that. Oh yeah, I did. Look, it's in the example right there. It just wasn't in the switches above. P, so -P is the same, lowercase p, small for string, big for file. Okay, cool. Thank you for that info. So what it's giving us right here, lowercase p, we're going to do capital P because we want to specify our passwords.txt file. So we'll do Hydra-L and then users.txt capital P, passwords.text, the machine IP. I think I can just do my mail.thm and it will resolve to the IP. I may have to actually specify the IP, but we'll see if this works first. HTTP post form source redirect.php, and then the user parameter, we can get that from, where did Burp Suite go? I had Burp Suite open, right? Yeah, here it is. Here's Burp Suite. Well, there it is. I think when it was minimized, I didn't see it, or I'm just blind. So we have the password parameter, or the login parameter there. When I make this, let me open the right window. Oh, I specified the wrong thing. How about click Kali Linux? That'd be a good start. Oh yeah, it did kind of cut off some of it when it's minimized like that. Maybe that's why I didn't see it. So you'll notice that we have HTTP post form, redirect.hp, the user parameter, and then we're going to do user. So our user parameter is right there. Let's just copy that, jump back to our terminal, which I can't get to. What if I go like this? I do have like 2 monitors, but you guys are on my other monitor, which is the issue I'm running into right now. So we have the redirect.php, the user parameter, that, and we're going to do user and the password parameter. So let's jump back to Burp Suite, and that's going to be that secret key. So let's grab that. F equals incorrect. So that must be fail, -v for verbose. Okay, so it resolved the address. We even see that in the verbose. So we didn't have to specify the IP per se. All right, if you successfully pass or spray, you will now have a user account or 2 that you have fully compromised, allowing you to view company emails and potentially gain further access into the network. What is the username parameter in the post request? So let's just go ahead and fill this stuff out. What is the password parameter? That's that secret key. What username found with Hydra starts with an M? Murphy, I bet. It'll eventually get it. What is the password found with Hydra? So I haven't used Hydra too extensively. 5 valid passwords found. So these are all valid passwords for these accounts. So I think we can log in as all these different accounts. So we have we compromised Peanut Butter M, Davies J, Gongo H, Murphy F, and Jeffers D. So that's cool. We should probably save that. So I wonder if with Hydra you could actually output it to a file itself instead of manually doing it like I'm doing it now. But let's just go ahead and CD to mail, and we'll call it compromised. We'll just call it compromised.txt. Save that there so we have that information. And what is the password found with Hydra? So that's for Murphy F at summer 2020. Perfect.